Hello, welcome to this weather update. And after the last halfway comfortable day, the humidity is on the rise tonight. The sky is looking Florida-like, and we are going to be dealing with more humidity. And let me tell you, before we get started with this weather update, I'm going to go over just how humid it was in August. 28 days with dew points above 70 degrees at Islip for the month of August. Absolutely terrible. Okay, so we are going to look at the climate data for August for Islip MacArthur Airport. And it was a very humid month. I already looked over. We only had 3 days in the entire month of August that had dew points stay below 70 degrees. For the most part, as you will see here, we had temperatures above normal, all right, for the whole period, pretty much above normal for the whole period, and the humidity was above normal, all right. So the humidity was well above what it's supposed to be, all right. So again, this is what we're going to look at here: are these dew points. And you know what? Let me make this a little bigger so you can see this. Let's go ahead. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Get in here and see this a little better. Alright, so this is for the month of August, and I want you to just take note of the dew points that we've experienced the whole month. These are the dew points here, and look at how high they've gotten. Dew points well into the mid-70s many days this month. This is the dew point right here. This is very abnormal, and so it was a very, very humid month for Islip, and I wanted to point this out to you as to how humid it was for the almost entire month, with the exception of 3 days. We've had a lot of humidity the entire month at Islip, and for all over the whole area, really. And you can see these high dew points. The only days that we had are those 3 days right there, the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, were the dew points below. But other than that, 78-degree dew points, very unusual for Islip to see, to have these kind of climate on. This is like Florida weather, and this is because we've had that ridge in place, and that ridge hasn't gone anywhere. Now I want to actually go and I want to look at July as well. We're actually going to look at the whole summer here and show you again how humid the whole summer was, if we can do that. So again, these are your looks at your temperatures. You can see the temperatures here. Pretty much a hot month, and you can see that. And again, maximum was 95. All right, but the heat it wasn't really so much the heat this summer. We had a lot of heat, but it was mainly all about that humidity. And here we go again. Look at these days with dew points well into the 70s. All right, at Islip. So we've had a lot of days. Now, as far as July goes, how many days did we have dew points that stayed below 70? Let's see. We have 1. We had 2. We had 3. We had 4. We had 5. We had 6. We had 7. We had 8. All right, we had a little more. July was a little better in that regard. We did have some. July was definitely a better month than August. But again, having dew points this high, 77 degrees, this is not normal. So I wanted to just show you this before I got started with the weather update and the outlook for this week, to show you just what a brutal summer it's been across our area when it comes to the humidity. We've had one of the most humid summers ever recorded. I mean, we've had how many days let's go back to August. All right, well, let's see. We had 3 days with the dew point was below 70, so that means that in August, let me go back to August now. In August, that means, let's see, August was a 31-day month. That means we had 28 days in August where the dew point was above 70 degrees at Islip. 28 days. That is crazy. That is very alarming. That is not normal at all. And again, we go over this one more time for you and showing you again. This is what the dew points reached. Many days, 76, 76, 77. How many days do we have days with dew points in the mid 70s in August? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And these are contiguous days here. 14 contiguous days with dew points in the mid 70s. And this is insane. This is not normal for our area. And this is due to climate change because we have much warmer oceans than normal. So I wanted to point that out to you. I could go over a whole bunch of other stations, but I wanted to point that out to you before I got started with this weather update to show you what is wrong in the atmosphere and what we've been dealing with. And that ridge is going to be back in a big way this week. Actually, I want to go over a few more things here with the climate here. Just a summary from the Weather Service, which will basically show you how we were above normal and how much we were above normal for the month at Islip. So for August, the average high was 84 degrees, and the normal value is 80. So we were 3.7 degrees above normal. And as far as if we calculate the mean temperature, we were about 4 degrees above normal for the month of August. Precipitation, we were above normal with that. It was definitely kind of a wet month. Just a brutal month. This unfortunately doesn't show the humidity, which is why I really didn't want to show it too much. But it doesn't really show the humidity, but it really shows you what we've been dealing with. I'll change it to another station, Central Park, which is the New York City one. We'll use this one for New York City. So you'll see here, Central Park, the average high was 84 and the normal value was 82. So not as much above normal in Central Park, interestingly enough, for the high. And the mean was about 2.9 degrees above normal. So not quite as above normal, but still an above normal month. I mean, you combine it with the humidity, it just made it brutal. Alright, so now we're going to look at the satellite image of the tropics to show you Florence, which is still a tropical storm. It's still a tropical storm. Doesn't look quite that healthy. You can still see dust in the air, so you can still see this dust that's coming off South Africa, which definitely helps to inhibit the development. But again, as we go into September, things usually start picking up. You can see over our area a lot of cloudiness, maybe some clear skies right on the shore on the east end, but a lot of cloudiness, and we're going to be dealing with that, throughout the week. I think clouds and sun, but it will be you can see the soupy air. You could see that ridge. You could really see. You can actually see the circulation of the ridge even by looking at this. Of course, out west, beautiful weather. I still see some smoke over here, so there may still be some smoke coming out of those fires up there. And of course, we got the fires here, you know about. But of course, if we were in Flagstaff right now, which is somewhere over here, mostly clear skies over there. So and dry air, of course, but we're not over there. We're in this soup over here. So let's get over to the models. All right, before I get to the models, let's take a look and see what we have on the National Hurricane Center. So Florence is still 50 mile an hour. We'll go and look at Florence right now because that's the storm that they really don't have it intensifying to a hurricane at all. They have it staying as a tropical storm, it looks like. And that's because of the dust in the air from the Sahara that's helping to inhibit the development. Thank God for that. But if we go and look at the models, you'll see Florence shows up on them now. So we're going to actually go right there and look at the models next. Alright, let's go look at the GFS again, and we're going to look at we saw this yesterday, and we're pretty much going to see the same thing with that ridge right there. You see the ridge from hell, once again, over the east coast, and over the eastern part of the country. Dry air, trying to build in, but won't make it in, because the ridge is in place, and there's nothing really, again, we don't really have a jet stream to move this along, so we're stuck in the soup pretty much for a while, and you see, it just seems like that. And this is Florence right here. So it brings it a lot closer on this run. Again, it's a ways off. It brings it a lot closer and pretty strong. That to me looks like a hurricane. But again, with the warm waters, we're going to look at the temperature anomalies in a minute offshore. But with the warm waters, it wouldn't surprise me, especially once it gets toward the east coast, that it would strengthen because it's a little bit further away from that dust. But it still keeps it offshore, but it does bring it closer. That's the concern. And you can still see that ridge right there. And that ridge can screw us. The only reason why this goes out to sea is because the ridge weakens a little bit, and we're able to get some dry air to work in and maybe push that out. But, you know, with that ridge in place, I wouldn't be so sure that that ridge is just ridiculous, and it doesn't want to budge at all. It's like the whole, I mean, we're now in September 18th, and maybe finally, see, it's always that last couple of days in the run where it wants to push the ridge out, but it just keeps getting pushed off further and further. You know, the deal with that. So we'll look at the dew points. Again, we'll show you the humidity. We're going to be stuck in the humidity for a while. The humidity we've been dealing with in August is now the humidity we're going to be dealing with in September. As we go into Labor Day, you'll see all that humid air. Dew points in the 70s all the way up to Chicago and even up into parts of Canada, into Maine. Again, very well, the dry air's out west again because there is no jet stream to move things along, so things aren't moving along. This is global warming, climate change. Wednesday, same thing. Humidity, you know the deal already. And look at that. It keeps us. It's actually slowing the relief down for the weekend. It keeps us in the humidity until Saturday now. So we were originally going to start seeing relief on Friday. No. Now it's pushed it off to Saturday. And then it's just for one day. And then look what happens. We're right back in the humidity again. And that, you see, there's Florence right there. And it's like there's no relief to this humidity. And you can see how close it comes. So this is a concern. It definitely bears watching. It definitely bears watching. I'm not saying we're going to definitely see effects from it, but there's a chance we will. So we have to keep an update. It's very far in the distance. But with that ridge there in place and nothing to move the weather along from west to east, we are in a bad pattern for if there is something there, it could wind up hitting us. Because, again, we are in a tropical climate. The whole East Coast, we have the same weather from Florida all the way to Maine. The same weather from Florida to Chicago. The same weather. Because there's no jet stream to move things along. And this could wind up being the climate here. You know, we could have the East Coast could become the tropics, and the West Coast will be where you'll have to get the 4 seasons. You'll have to go to the West Coast, western half of the country, to get proper air. So that's a very strong possibility that can happen. This is scary because this ridge has been in place in some form for months and months already, and I can't say it enough. I can't say enough how abnormal this is. We already went over this. I do want to go over another model, and that is the the European model, because the European model actually shows up on the European model too. I just want to show you this too as well. Somebody sent me Euro saying the Euro is actually pumping things up in the trot. Yeah, oh yeah, the Euro is the one that has it hitting us. See, this is the Euro right here. It has a stronger ridge. And actually I want to actually change the regions because it actually has a bunch of things going on. Of course, this is the European model. It's not the but still it bears watching. You can see it's starting to form a whole bunch of things. If we look at the Euro, you'll see here there's Florence. Has a weakening a little bit, but then as it gets closer to the East Coast, gets into that above normal water over here, it's going to explode, and we see there's the ridge again, and there's the problem. That ridge is going to steer it right into the East Coast. This is the Europeans' opinion of what may happen in the distant future. Again, it just bears watching. That's all I'm going to say. There's no need to go freaking out yet, but this is not a good pattern for us if we don't want to have hurricanes. This is why I'm so disgusted with this ridge, and I think that we need to do something about it. We need to actually actively intervene and see what is it going to take to get this ridge to break down. What can we as humans do to get rid of this ridge, because this puts the whole East Coast at risk. It's not normal. It's creating a lot of misery for a whole lot of people, and this ridge needs to be going away. All right? Problems all have to do with the jet stream. Again, we're going to look at the jet stream again. Where is the jet stream? It's a very diffuse, wavy jet stream that's in Canada, pretty much, and there's a trough in the west, and it's just been, this is the same pattern we've been dealing with. Look at how wavy it is. Look at how diffuse it is. And as we go along, you'll see that the pattern it sets up is bad for us because, again, we don't have that jet stream kicking things along. We don't have that jet stream. Should be down here. It should be kicking this humidity out to sea where it belongs, as well as the hurricanes and tropical systems that threaten our area. But you don't see that happening. You don't see that happening, and that is the concern that we have. And look at this. There's no jet stream. There's no jet stream. This is very alarming. We may wind up seeing the beginning of the end for us here in the East Coast. It may become uninhabitable. Maybe even next year we may have to move out if this is what's going to continue here, because it's not an inhabitable place to be with this kind of humidity and now the constant threat for hurricanes. So this is crazy. This is a climate emergency. That's what I'm saying. It's a climate emergency, but nobody takes it seriously. All right, we are at earthnullschool.net, and we are looking at sea surface temperature anomaly. And once again, you could see, look at the ocean off the east coast. It is on fire. It is on fire. All right, look at these anomalies here. We're talking anomalies of. I'll click right here. It says 3 degrees Celsius above normal. So that is about 5 or 6 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Look at this one. This one here, I clicked here. It says 5.5 degrees Celsius above normal. We're talking almost 10 degrees above normal. So you have waters generally 6 to 10 degrees above normal off the East Coast, especially New England. And this stretches all across the entire Atlantic. All right? So as the hurricane moves over here, it's gonna as it gets closer, my concern is we're going to see a very strong intensification. And with these water temperatures, if this thing took the right track, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a Category 3 hit us. Yeah, that's right. All right. So if it took the right track, all right, because these water temperatures are enough to sustain a very strong hurricane at this point. And I'm going to actually go and we're going to actually look at the actual sea surface temperatures here. All right. So if we're looking at the actual sea surface, let me close this up. We're looking at the actual sea surface temperature. So if I click here, the sea surface temperature is 23 degrees Celsius. All right, it's pretty warm. All right, if we calculate that out, let's see, Celsius to Fahrenheit. I'll do that right now. 75 degrees. So it's 75 degrees Celsius. All right, so about 75 degrees Celsius. But what happens if we go off of Long Island? Let's go off the Jersey Shore here. Yeah, let's go. This is 26 degrees Celsius, the water over here. So let's see what that is. 78 degrees. That's 78 degrees, almost 79 degrees. Now you need water temperatures of 80 or above to sustain or strengthen a hurricane. And if we go not that far away off the Delmarva, we're seeing temperatures near 28 degrees Celsius. And that is definitely 80 degrees, 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So very warm waters here, and if we go even further south off the Carolina coast, we have water temperatures of 30 degrees Celsius. So you can see all this warm water here that is just ripe for hurricane formation here. 30 degrees Celsius. So if we put 30 in here, we'd be dealing with 86 degree water. All right, so this is a very much above normal water. It's a very dangerous situation, and all the people on the South Shore who think they really have it made might get a really nasty surprise if this thing winds up hitting us, because with these kind of conditions, we could see a hurricane definitely worse than Sandy. We could see a natural disaster on the scale of which we've never seen in our area due to this climate. We have a tropical climate along the whole East Coast right now. It's very abnormal, very scary. But anyway, and then the last part of this video, we're going to go over back to the model page and look at what we're going to be dealing with at least this week. Before we go, I don't want to freak anyone out here, but I just want to say this is a very dangerous situation. Maybe I want people to freak out a little bit and say, you know what? Maybe we need to do something about climate change. Maybe climate change is one of the most important issues facing us right now that we need to address. That's what I want people to think, but they're not thinking about that, unfortunately. But this is a very real risk for our area. We're seeing, we're going to see, in the worst case scenario, the East Coast becomes the entire tropics. We have rainforests, we have Florida climate up the whole East Coast. And the West Coast is cool and dry in the winter and maybe hot and dry in the summer. But the East Coast, if you don't like living in a Florida type of environment or a Texas type of environment, then the whole East Coast is going to become like that. And it's going to be uninhabitable for people like me who can't take the heat. So let's take a look at the GFS here for this following. We're only going to look at this week and see the kind of heat we're going to be dealing with. So Labor Day, you see already, Jersey's going to be dealing with 90s. That's like the pinkish, and then we're going to be in the 80s on Long Island. And as we go into Tuesday is going to be much worse. Actually, I see 100 on the map over New York City. We're going to see mid-90s almost everywhere. Tuesday is going to probably be the worst day of it. And I have a feeling there's going to be a west wind on Tuesday. And then as we go into Wednesday, it's a little better over Long Island, 80s. Again, we're still dealing with 90s over Jersey. Thursday, we're still dealing with temperatures around 90 in many areas. Friday, finally we start seeing some relief, maybe. Yes, Friday we do start seeing some relief in the temperatures. They're coming down because of a backdoor front that's coming through. And we still have that backdoor front for the weekend that'll bring the temperatures into the 70s, but there will be plenty of clouds around. And then the heat, you can see the heat starting to come right back on Sunday again. And look at that, by Monday it's right back in the area. So I'll only cover a whole week here on the GFS. We'll look at the dew points again. I'll show you the dew points again for the week. You'll see that we're going to be dealing with high dew points again in the 70s tomorrow, Tuesday. Oh, yeah, it does show the wind. So Tuesday's going to be worse. You can see clearly because there's more of a west wind. That's where we're going to be dying. That west wind is a killer. And then, let's see, it looks like there's no wind on Tuesday at all whatsoever. So Tuesday is going to be absolutely horrible. Wednesday, it looks like there will be more of a sea breeze, so it'll bring the temperatures down a little bit, but the humidity, you can see, stays high. Thursday, and again, Thursday, we got it looks like the humidity comes down a little bit, maybe upper 60s dew points. But Saturday, we're still dealing with dew points around 70. So here we are into September now, all right? The weather isn't supposed to be like this. And then as we get into Saturday, you'll see we get some drier air, dew points in the 50s with an east wind. So it'll probably be a repeat of this weekend, probably, that we've had with the cool temperatures. But you see, look what happened Sunday. Humidity comes right back. So that's what we're going to be dealing with. That is the GFS. I want to look at the NAM. Look at the NAM dew points. Sometimes the NAM has a little bit of a... Okay, that's the 0Z run. Let's get the 18Z run. So, again, look at these really high dew points, 78-degree dew points. So the NAM, I think, the GFS is a little low on the dew points. I really think the dew point's going to be well up into the mid-70s again tomorrow. And as we go into Tuesday, yep, you see those dew points into the 70s. It's going to be horrible, folks. It's going to be horrible. Here's where you want to be, Maine. Maine, they have some, looks like they have some nice weather up there. But even they get into some of the humidity in the end anyway. But they get a little relief, at least. And then, this is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. I'll look at clouds. Actually, I have to change that to look at clouds, show you clouds, and I think that'll be the last part. Because there will be a lot of clouds around, as you see. Change this to previous run again. You'll see here there'll still be a lot of clouds around. So deep blue skies, no, we're not going to be seeing that. Maybe over Maine. Maybe over Maine. But for us, no, we won't be. We won't be getting into any of that. This is what we're going to deal with. And I'll go back to GFS, and you'll see here what we're dealing with. So, again, well, it looks like maybe some clear, but it's going to be hazy with all that humidity around. And Tuesday, Wednesday, and you see there's the front, stalls out. See, if you're in Maine, you probably get some nice weather on Saturday. Clear weather and cool weather, but that front, it's a backdoor front, so it's not going to make it all the way through. It's going to stall out. And this stall front syndrome is what could hurt us. There's the hurricane. You can clearly see here's a front coming. But will this front actually come through and push this thing offshore where it belongs, or will we get hit? So that is the question. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap up this weather update. Just bear watch for Florence, but I'm just saying we have conditions that could put us in a situation where we could wind up being staring down possibly a Category 2 or 3 hurricane. Certainly, if the conditions were right, that could happen. Hopefully, this jet stream will show up and start moving the weather along like it's supposed to do, because we don't have a jet stream right now, and this is very, very bad situation. It's a very dangerous situation that we're dealing with here. With no jet stream, I mean, here, I'll show you the... Here we go. So this is the jet stream again. Where's the jet stream? The jet stream should be here. It should be down here, and it should be moving. This freaking ridge, you see it right here. This ridge should be pushed offshore by now. We're in September now. Where are the dry, sunny days of September? Not only is it so annoying that we're going to have to, worry about having a hurricane hit us because of this, but I don't know when I'm going to get to the Pine Barrens. I mean, I can't even get to the Pine Barrens. I can't even get outside and enjoy the weather anymore. If I can't get to the Pine Barrens, what's the point? If this is the way the weather is going to be here on the East Coast, if this is the way it's going to if this is what's going to happen the next couple of years, I'm going to have to seriously think about moving out to Flagstaff, because I can't deal with this weather. This constant humidity, cloudiness. I can't even go outside. What's the point of living if you can't go to the Pine Barrens? All right, I don't mean to rant. I'm sorry. But, this is ridiculous. This freaking ridge has got to go. This ridge right here, we need to do something about it. And if I was the President of the United States right now, I'd be looking and seeing what kind of weather modification we could do to get rid of this ridge. This ridge is very bad news for us. Very bad news. And I'd also outlaw pickup trucks, SUVs, mandate hybrids, the whole deal. We got to take global warming seriously. Yes, climate change should be the #1 priority in this country. Instead, it's the number 100 priority. And I'm not just blaming Trump. I'm blaming the Democrats too on this. All right, no one takes it seriously enough. And that's why I want to keep doing these weather updates. I have to, because it's important that you know what's really going on with the weather, because nobody really is talking about it. We really are in a climate emergency. And I really wish people would take this seriously and go and start protesting. Enough about protesting at this stupid stuff. Go and start protesting, demanding our government do something to stop this. Because if we don't, humanity will go extinct. That's it.